Yeah, this is Mike Brown, and I'm about to do a flow. If you hear me on this shit, I didn't do the intro. It's the art of letting go. Nah. Why I'm acting scared to freestyle is just me sitting at the beach, doing it with no beat. Been doing the same thing on this podcast every week. If you didn't know, this is the art of letting go. Oh my gosh. So yeah, man, we out here. I always say that. I'm always out here at the beach. This is Mike Brown, and you are tuned into the art of letting go. I'm sitting here. I just dropped my sister off at the beach. At the beach. Just dropped my sister off at the airport. Shout out to my sister for coming out here. This episode is really inspired by that whole experience. It really I spent a lot of time with family in the last week in general. I spent some time with my boyfriend's family, spent time with my sister, but my sister really inspired this episode because I thought about putting her on an episode while she was here, and yeah, slight pettiness came over me just because, I know in the past she told me she had never listened to the podcast, so I thought to myself, I didn't want her on my podcast if she had never heard it before, because that's what I say about all my other guests, but she's not a regular person. She is my sister. So, next time I definitely will bring her on. Hopefully she listens to this episode. And I say that because today's episode is really about, again, family. But this time, I think I want to give my family the space to grow. And, I hope they do the same for me. I'm just learning, through interacting with my family. Like a lot of times, family in general, whether it be mine, yours, or whoever's, but we hold people to a certain place of who they are, who they were in our lives. And I know for myself, I don't always give them the space to grow. I try to, but I think because I've known my family members, and I was gonna say these people, but they are humans. I've been knowing them for so long that I only see them a lot of times one way, and I think that was really the breakdown between my sister and I. I think we both saw each other as who we were, and haven't really gotten to know each other as who we are today. And we had a conversation at the beach the day that I was thinking about having her on the episode. She wanted to talk about, both of us not being able to take criticism. And it was funny because we both perceive things two different ways. For her, criticism, or because I like to know the difference between constructive criticism and criticism, and if you have a definition, please share it with me. But for me, constructive criticism is somebody giving you some advice to help you grow, and just criticizing somebody, to me, is you just projecting your negativity on them. And a lot of times I think I perceived some of her criticism that way, and I think she took some of my advice as me criticizing her and trying to tell her how to live her life. And just through talking at the beach and shit, I really recognized that we kind of communicate two different ways. Like, the way we give things and the way we interpret things. And I think because of our journeys, we learn different ways to communicate other than what we were taught. Because I don't know if I've ever seen a really healthy sibling relationship in my family, and a lot of times I perceive other people's sibling relationships the way they look externally, but never really know what those are like. And so I feel like we both are teaching ourselves some things. We are both trying to figure out how to have a healthy relationship, because that example wasn't really there for us. So after talking, I really got to look at myself, because we gave each other the space to express what we actually felt, and not being defensive. Like, neither one of us were defensive. I felt like we both really were just explaining what it was given as and accepting what the other person took it as. So, it made me look at, okay, how do I get to know her better in order to make this feel as a healthy relationship for both of us? Because that's important to me. It really is. Like, I think the more I grow in my life, the less bullshit I want in my life. And like, sometimes family negativity and family drama really feels like bullshit. And one thing that I recognize about myself is I can be extremely vulnerable with my friends and on this podcast, and I'm not always like that with my family. I think because in the past we all have been so judgmental of each other, and still to this day, we still judge each other to this day. It's hard to really share where you at, like, everybody ain't on the same journey, and I'm learning that, and I'm starting to accept that. And I guess for me, I can't speak for everybody, but I don't want to feel invalidated by what I'm doing, because I know what I'm doing. I had a moment last week where I really felt proud of myself and everything I'm doing. I'm going back and teach full time this school year. This podcast is doing really well. Released a t-shirt that I have on, and it's available. The link is somewhere within the description of this podcast. But I just have been feeling really proud of all the work that I've been doing lately. And sometimes I just don't want nobody to make me feel down about that shit, or make me feel like I can't express me doing good because they are in some negative space, So I'm really trying to find more space to be myself around my family, because I'm still the same nigga at my core, but I feel a lot more mature. It's not a freestyle. But I'm just trying to figure it all out, because as I'm sitting here and talking and thinking, I feel like I do have to not be so guarded and not take myself so serious around my family. I take myself pretty serious. I do. And I try my best to try to loosen up, but life feels serious to me. Life feels pretty serious. And I take my growth and my journey serious. So, but I do have to find time to smile within that and laugh within that with the people that I know love me. And that's all I really got for y'all today. How are your relationships with your family, with your siblings, with your parents? Please share. I would love to hear. See if I got any news for you guys, for you. I was just on Broke Girl Therapy. It's another podcast that you guys should really check out. Shout out to Steph. We recorded a really dope episode. Bring her on here pretty soon. Just trying to figure out the date. I'm gonna have some more guests for you guys. I know I've been doing a lot of solo stuff, but I really wanted you to know that it's just me out here. What else? New t-shirts. I don't know if you can see this. If you're watching, new t-shirt. It's available on teespring.com/store/theartoflettinggopodcast. I know it's a dope shirt, but I also would appreciate if y'all support it. Supporting the shirt supports the podcast. I want to keep this free. I really do. And, your support helps me in doing that because I really enjoy doing this every week. Still working on an intro for the show. Every week, I guess I'm a freestyle if I don't have one. So be prepared to hear me rap every week until I create an intro. If you like this podcast, please find it at the Art of Letting Go podcast everywhere. Like, subscribe, share. I really appreciate y'all for listening. Shout out to everybody that supports everything that's going on with the podcast. Shout out to everybody that got t-shirts. If you got a t-shirt, please send me a picture or post a picture with it and hashtag the Art of Letting Go podcast so I can see it. I love that y'all supporting, Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what y'all think about what's going on with everything. Thank y'all for listening. Peace. If you like what you heard in this episode, please like, subscribe, and share the Art of Letting Go podcast. This podcast is available on all platforms. This podcast is also on all social media under the Art of Letting Go podcast. You can also find me at primomiguel.com for all creative endeavors. We just released a new t-shirt. I would love if you guys supported it. Thank you for listening to this podcast. This is the Art of Letting Go.